We begin with the crime alert. A Peoria woman arrested after reportedly hitting a child riding a bike. Thanks for joining us today. I'm Matt Sheehan. Peoria police have arrested 39-year-old Carrie Brunswig. She's charged with leaving the scene of an accident with injury or death, failure to give aid or information, and failure to report an accident. Brunswig's license was also revoked, and she had no insurance and an expired registration plate. She was also charged with failure to reduce speed to avoid an accident. Brunswig has a laundry list of traffic charges and is facing a meth felony charge from just 3 months ago. Just 2 months ago, she was charged with transporting/carrying alcohol in a car she was driving. According to Peoria police, the crash happened on Northeast Glen Oak Avenue near Star Terrace shortly after 7 p.m. The child was transported to a local hospital and has serious injuries. In other news, 3 separate death investigations in Peoria. The first Monday afternoon in a neighborhood near North Sheridan Road and West McClure Avenue. Witnesses saying someone ran up to 15-year-old Daquan Pruitt, shooting him multiple times. He later died at the hospital. Then, hours later, another shooting, this time on South Green Lawn. Police say they found 35-year-old Adrian Kendrell Murphy of Bloomington shot multiple times. He also later died at the hospital. And Peoria's youngest homicide, an infant, stemming from a shooting on September 20th. Police tell us someone shot Brianna Webster, who was pregnant at the time, in the arm while sitting in her vehicle on West Ann Street. Webster survived, but her injuries prompted the need for an emergency C-section for her unborn child, Jamila Webster Carlton. That baby survived only 23 days. She died on October 13th. Well, during a news conference yesterday, Peoria Police Chief Eric Echevarria said the violence has to stop. Due to open investigations, he would not share many details about the shootings that took place this week. But the chief said the homicide near Sheridan and McClure does appear to be related to other recent violence. As part of the police's response, Chief Echevarria says his department is working leads and meeting with local religious leaders and families impacted by violence. He also had this message for those who may know the people committing the crimes.
As much as we talk about we need to engage our community, and we believe in that, sometimes some people need to go to jail. And any of these violent offenders, gang members if there's gang members, sex offenders that are committing crimes, any of these types of offenders that are out in our city committing crimes, sometimes some people need to go to jail.
Echevarria says many of the guns being used in shootings appear to be stolen. He encouraged the community to safeguard their weapons so there aren't more illegal guns on the street. Also arrested for stealing more than $100,000 of government funds. East Peoria police tell WMBD around 8:30 yesterday morning, officers executed a search warrant at the Eastport Marina. There, police arrested the harbor master, Ronald Roberts. He was taken to the Tazewell County Jail on theft and forgery charges. Police say the investigation is still ongoing and day-to-day operations at the marina will continue as normal. Anyone with additional information is asked to call the East Peoria Police Department. You can see the number right now at the top of your screens. In the courtroom, 19-year-old Gary Irby III, 18-year-old Jeremy Moore Jr., and Tyrannique White, all being indicted on first-degree murder charges. The grand jury indictment states all are part of the shooting that killed high school senior Jerry Snipes Jr. in Peoria on October 6th. Irby was already being housed in the Peoria County Jail for unrelated charges, but on October 28th, he was arrested by detectives from the Peoria Police Criminal Investigations Division. According to police, White turned herself in on Friday. All 3 suspects were back in court this morning. In council chambers, the topic of public safety pension fees dominating the discussion at last night's Peoria City Council meeting. The council voted not to extend its partial public safety pension fee, which is expected to end this year. Property owners have paid this fee towards the city's liability for police and fire pensions since 2018. The city manager says getting rid of this fee now creates a $2 million hole in the city's budget to pay for this. Some council members say ending this fee takes a load off of taxpayers' backs, while others say it's a gateway to cutting more public safety services.
If you support this motion, you've just punched a hole in the public safety fabric of this city. Katie, bar the door. I'm here to tell you there will be consequences.
The public said earlier this year, no more taxes and fees to fund pensions. putting this $2 million fee in didn't help the pension problem. The pension problem actually grew during the same period of time, and all this did was help take the eye off the ball for the actual problem.
The council will be looking at alternative ways and revenue sources to replace the $2 million. Suggestions included reducing how much money the city annually contributes to the pensions. The city has until the year 2040 to pay $360 million towards public safety pensions. From our Capitol newsroom, Governor Pritzker signed an amendment that bans people from using moral objections to refuse to comply with COVID requirements in their workplace. The Health Care Right of Conscience Act was passed in 1998 and is meant to protect health care providers who refuse to perform medical procedures they're opposed to. But the Chicago Sun-Times reports it has now been invoked by some looking to avoid testing, vaccine, and masking mandates at work. The amendment clarifies it does not apply to COVID-19 requirements, but does still allow for religious or medical objections. Some Republicans called it another example of Pritzker's, quote, tyrannical rule. And a health alert appointments are being taken at various clinics in hopes of getting 5 to 11-year-olds vaccinated. This week in OSF St. Joseph holding a vaccination clinic from 9 to 1 at the OSF Pediatrics office. Also this Saturday, McLean County Unit 5 will be holding a vaccine drive at Kingsley Junior High School in Normal with assistance from Carl. A nurse at OSF Pediatrics tells WMBD they've seen a high demand for the vaccine since its approval last week.
And our initial forecast was around 80 patients to get scheduled. That opened this past Friday. The schedule was built, and I came in today actually, and we are already over. We had 81, so we did opt to go ahead and open more slots, and we are already in the 90s right now, and so we're going to open as many as 200 slots for the community.
The McLean County Health Department is also holding a clinic from 9 to 11 next Tuesday at Grosinger Motors Arena. Leaders with Bloomington District 87 and Hayworth schools say they're in the process of planning something similar to Unit 5's. Also, federal regulators could soon authorize Pfizer boosters for all adults. So far, they're just recommended for vulnerable groups and people over the age of 65. Pfizer wants to change that, citing early results of a booster study. It found protection against COVID infection was restored to nearly 96%. The Washington Post reports Pfizer's request could get clearance by month's end. The FDA has said it would move to expand boosters to younger ages if needed. And some schools in the Tri-County area are going back to remote learning in response to an increase in positive COVID-19 cases. Pleasant Hill Superintendent Lisa Weaver announced remote learning until after Thanksgiving. And earlier this week, 7th and 8th graders at Tremont Grade School went remote for the rest of the week. An epidemiologist with the Peoria City County Health Department says 10% of a classroom or 3 or more linked cases will put the school on outbreak status. She says COVID-19 cases in children up to age 19 have been steadily increasing since September, accounting for more than 20% of all cases. Now that vaccines are available for kids 5 through 11, she says it's very important to get your child vaccinated. In the Twin Cities, a group of social activists wants more to be done when it comes to homelessness. WMBD's Austin Schick shows us solutions the Stand Up for Social Justice group is asking for.
Renter evictions in Illinois doubling within the last month after a moratorium preventing them ended last month. Local activists fear the numbers will rise as the temperatures continue to drop. According to Prairie State Legal Services, 127 people are facing an eviction case in the McLean County courts since the moratorium on evictions due to unpaid rent ended on October 4th. The moratorium was put in place at the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic due to its financial impacts on people's pockets. The Stand Up for Social Justice group gathering for its monthly rally Tuesday outside the Bloomington Center for Performing Arts, holding signs and asking city, town, and county leaders to use federal funds and grants to build more affordable housing so that everyone has a place to call home.
There's a lot of people that shuffle in and out of shelters because they might have a job and then they lose their job. So there's a lot of in and out of shelters, and shelters want to find permanent housing for people, and that's the problem. There isn't enough permanent housing. There isn't enough that's affordable for people.
Prairie State Legal Services says if you are facing eviction, they can connect you with attorneys and help you apply for various aid programs. In the Twin Cities newsroom, I'm Austin Schick.